though, as our last thing here, kind of the epoch of our parish in growth. And that is that this is the parish register, the service register for Easter in 1926. And just to kind of give you an idea of what Easter Sunday would have looked like in 1926, at 6:30 a.m. they had a sunrise communion, and there were only 98 at that. 9 a.m. they had Holy Communion. There were only 170. I'm sorry. 8 a.m. 170. 9 a.m. 140. Then they had the Bible class that only had 51. Then at 11 o'clock they had Holy Communion and sermon, and they only had 1,600 people here for the service. The building originally, the original configuration of the building was seating capacity of about 1,300, so it was standing room only. Oh, and at 11 o'clock they also had a service in the chapel for the deaf. We had a congregation where the service was signed in the deaf. They had 50 for that. At 1:30 the Armenians came in. There was an Armenian congregation that used the church for worship for many years. Now St. John's Armenian Church up on 7 Mile. But the Armenian congregation managed to find 1,500 people to be here for the Sunday service at 1:30. At 3:30 they had baptisms. They baptized 70 people. At 4:30 we had evening prayer for the deaf mutes in the chapel at 70 people. At 4 o'clock they had an evening service they called the Easter Festival, which was basically Vespers, and that had 280 people. At 5:30 they had baptisms. They baptized 30 that day. The young people had a class, only 25 showed up. And then at 7:30 they had evening prayer, and only 210 were able to make it.
How many clergy were there? I mean, is that the rector doing all that?
2 or 3. Actually, I think they had the rector, they had an assistant, and then they had a part-time assistant. What they would do is they would hire the Armitage Club, the men's club, would raise money for the second curate's fund. And the second curate was used for the parish, as well as to fund a mission. They were always founding missions, and so the second curate worked half his time here and half his time helping to shore up a new parish in the congregations. So it just shows a little bit of the change. By the 1930s, by the time they were ready to move the building, Sunday, then of course this was Easter Sunday. Easter Sunday was down to about 1,000 by the time they were moving the building. And by the 1950s, Easter Sunday was only 650. So Detroit changed a great deal. And I'm fond to say that this parish has had 3 70-year periods. From its founding until the 1930s, St. John's was a prayer book Catholic parish. The election of I.C. Johnson as rector, he came here from Christ Church, Detroit, to be the rector. And one of his first